Screawn, I'm 24 and I'm a personal trainer from Stockport.
Still got a chance,
I was on season 3 and season 5, but I'm older, I'm stronger, so I'm back and I'm ready to beat the wall this time. I've been working on my stamina and agility because I can't just beat the course, I've got to beat someone else as well.
So when it comes to physical game shows over the last few decades, very few have dominated our TV screens like Ninja Warrior has in recent years. Now, we did have a brief hiatus, what with the world going on pause for a couple of years, but now, earlier this month, Ninja Warrior UK was back on our screens on ITV1, and completely different format, huge makeover. Now we've got people racing head-to-head, we've got house ninjas chasing the contestants, and for the first time ever worldwide, we've got the hunt for a male and female champion. Format is amazing. When it comes to actually taking part, what does that feel like? Well, don't ask me. I haven't done it, but I know a person who has. Nicky, how are you?
I'm good, thanks. How are you, John?
Yeah, good. It's been quite a week. So at the time of this recording, the episode aired last week. What's your phone been like over the last few days? Because I imagine you've had a few notifications.
Had quite a few messages from friends who've watched it, but then this year they've also for the first time included your Instagram handle.
I noticed, yeah.
Yeah, so I've had quite a few follows.
Oh, brilliant! Oh, excellent. Yeah, I did wonder. I started to notice that with each of the contestants. I was seeing that. So yeah, that's good because I've also thought that when your show aired, were you getting tagged in loads of stories of people watching you live on the show?
Yes, so many of my friends were like, "Oh, I know her. Let's put it on my story." So it was great.
Brilliant.
Yeah, my phone was blowing up.
Oh, excellent.
So nice.
Yeah. No, it's good. Now, obviously, the purpose of this, I mean, I myself, huge fan of the show. It's great watching people compete, but to talk to you now, and I imagine other people have got questions just to see what your journey's been like, because this isn't your first time on the show, is it? You've done, is it three times you've been on?
Yes, this is 3 times now. So I was on series 3 back in 2016, I think it was.
Yeah.
So it was a long time ago. And then I was on series 5 in 2018 as well.
Right.
So I've been on it a lot. I'm a bit of a regular now.
Yeah, exactly. You're a household name, basically. And you first name terms with everyone, I'd imagine.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Yeah. Cammy, Rochelle, you just all right, how you doing though?
Oh, it's just Ben.
Yeah. Oh, exactly. Or just it was really clear. So what I'm curious about now is what started it all. Was it because obviously you applied at series 3? Was it watching the first couple of series you looked at it and thought, I want to do it? What made you apply?
Well, growing up, I was always really into the game shows. So I watched Gladiators. I watched
my favourite
Total Wipeout, as you know. Total Wipeout quite well. But I watched Total Wipeout, and I watched the American Ninja Warrior and the original Ninja Warrior, always on Challenge TV, just watching it. Yeah.
That's it. Yeah.
It was great. And then when I was younger, my dream was always to be a gladiator.
Yeah.
But then they cancelled it, which was a shame.
I know. Of course, you've heard it's coming back though.
Yes, might have to register for my interest.
Exactly, yeah.
But yeah, so then it came to the UK, and I was obsessed with series 1 and 2.
Yeah.
But I wasn't old enough to apply at that time, so you had to be 18. So for series 3, it was the first year that I could apply, and I was 18 that year, and then managed to get on. And I was like, "This is crazy! I'm actually going to do it now."
Brilliant. Yeah, because the first time I met you was in 2016, and we've got a clip of it because Dion Trigg, who's a regular on the show, because he's been on series 1, 3, and 5, if I remember.
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, so if you got on series 3, you would have both been on the same.
Yeah, we're on the same. We might have even been on the same day as well, I think.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But it's been such a long while ago now. It's like a few. Yeah, I'm trying to remember now. It's been quite a while. But obviously, the first time I met you was I met Dion in 2015 because we both auditioned for Series 1, and I kept in touch with him since. It was that competition he did in 2016 that we've actually got a clip of it here. In fact, should we just go to it and then you can talk a bit more about it? Right. a bit of a blast from the past now, isn't it?
Yeah, I feel like I look so young there as well.
Well, I'm trying. We still look young at my age. Believe me, it's like yeah, you're like half my age or something. But yeah, because that was 2016. So were you still 18 at that point?
Yes, I think I just turned 18,
or
I might have turned 18 the September.
Right, yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah. Of course, you said you couldn't apply for the earlier series because you weren't old enough at that point, were you? So yeah. Of course, that means almost a third of your life has now been taken up with Ninja Warrior, isn't it? It's
pretty much,
yeah. Because I think there was, from memory, I think, didn't you say that Nigel Lehman, who I believe he's on tonight's episode, he hosted an event, and Ruel da Costa, who's now one of the House Ninjas, he had an event around that time, because there was a few going on.
Yeah, there were a few going on. I definitely went to Nigel's. It's all a blur now, really.
Yeah.
Thinking back, but yeah, those competitions were great though. They were always really nice to meet people and actually do some obstacles.
You know, the thing that really impressed me with it, because I'm more used to like the rowing scene and everything's all sort of really competitive. Everyone's very friendly, but with this, I can't believe how supportive everyone is of each other, because it's all about them versus the course, isn't it? I mean, obviously it's slightly different this year when you're racing people, but the community just seemed fantastic.
Yeah, that's the thing. Everyone's just rooting for each other. No one wants to do better than everyone else. They just want to do well for themselves. So it's really nice and really supportive.
Yeah, it's about getting the most. Yeah, getting the most out of yourself. And that was the other thing with tips. I don't know about you, but the advice Dion was given that day was just
great.
Brilliant. His knowledge, and I also noticed in that clip. Of course, I didn't know him at the time. Tim Champion was there, who ended up becoming the first man to complete the whole thing. So there was.
He was incredible at that point as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was always really good to watch, just see him just kind of fly around the course.
Yeah, you were in very good company. So that was in the April of 2016. I think the auditions was it around June maybe?
I think it was June, because I was finishing my A-levels, so I'd done my A-level exams, then I had my school graduation, and I remember that was the day before I had my audition, and then I was going on holiday with my friends straight after as well. It was all crammed into one.
Yeah. So of course, so you do the audition, and then is it July? No, it's in the August that they film it. Then wasn't it?
Yeah. So you do the audition.
Yeah.
They shortlist a few people. So I think it was maybe a week or two after the audition. Say if you were shortlisted, and that doesn't mean that you're on, but
I know you're in the pool of people they like.
Right. Yeah. So once you get that shortlisted email, you think, okay, right, I've got to get fully training for it now. But,
on. Now, obviously, so when you get picked, you get because am I right? You stay at a hotel near the Manchester Arena or something. Do they put you all nearby, and then you just spend a few days there, or?
So because I am from Stockport, which is very close to Manchester, so I didn't get put up in a hotel.
Oh, okay.
But they still pay for your expenses and everything. But they put everyone else in a hotel if you lived far away. And it's a nice hotel as well. I saw pictures from people, so it was lovely.
That's all right. Oh, sorry you missed out on that.
On the hotel stay.
Well, the thing is, you're in London now, so maybe they'll put you up now, wouldn't they?
Well, yeah, they might.
Yeah, you'll experience the hotel thing this time.
Excellent, great.
That was the reason you moved, wasn't it?
Just so I could stay at the hotel.
Give you a better hotel for next series. Right, so I'll tell you what. Let's just quickly have a quick look at. Let's have a look at your time on Series 3. So this was your first go, and I've noticed you shared this on Instagram. It looked like Rochelle Humes herself shared the clip of you in action.
Yeah, she shared it, so I reshared it from her. And so now on my Instagram, I've always got this thing that says, Rochelle Humes posted your video.
Brilliant. That's pretty good bragging rights, isn't it?
Yeah, claim to fame.
Absolutely, yeah. Let's load up the clip now. So.
Tonight's youngest contestant, 19-year-old student Nicola Screawn. Show us how it's done. Great poise here, Cammy. Really impressive. Put your legs up, Nicola.
Wow, this is great.
Get your feet up and round, Nicola.
Get a hand on top, yes.
There you go, well done. She drags herself. It's a burner on the fingertips now, Cammy. That ledge, of course, getting narrower and narrower.
Here she goes.
Grandma Trisha and Grandpa Tom screaming exit away.
She's nearly there.
She's doing this fantastically
She's
well.
nearly
Kelly.
there, Ben.
It's so narrow at the end there. Look how narrow, it's just a fingertip, barely.
She's
Nearly
going on to
there.
Ali.
Yes, come on now, Nicola. That cheerleader has got the entire crowd on.
You know what? I'm out of breath just watching that.
My fingertips hurt watching it.
Yeah, well, do you know what? In terms of obstacles for that, considering that was the first round, wasn't it? It wasn't the semi-final.
Yeah.
That's more like a semi-final obstacle. I've not seen an obstacle that most of them are a bit, I would say, a little bit easier just from my perspective. I mean,
That was a really tough one. But the weird thing is, the night before, I'd actually had a dream
right?
that it was going to be the I-beam, which was that obstacle. Which was, so when I was sat there and they were telling you what the obstacles were,
Yeah.
they then took the I-beam. I was like, am I a prophet?
Actually, you've just reminded me of something else. Can you? Because some people watching it may not know, but you don't get any practice on the obstacles. You're shown the course, and that's it. Yeah.
Yeah. So they take you into the set. They walk you around the course, and they get testers. So these testers will show you how they do the obstacle.
Oh, okay, right.
So that you'll see them do it. You might see a couple of times in like different techniques, and you can ask them questions. But that's all you get. And then they also actually get you to stand on at the start, just in front of the steps, just so you can kind of get a bit of a feel for it, so you know what it's going to be like when you get there. But that's all you get.
Oh my goodness me, that's quite nervous because, and here's the other thing I'm wondering about. When you're stood at the front, having all the crowds there, what does that atmosphere like? Does it help the adrenaline? Does it make you more nervous?
I think it's a bit of both. So every single time I've done it, I've been so nervous. I'm on that start line and my legs are shaking, my hands are shaking. And but then I think as soon as you hear those beeps, the beep, 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 beep.
That's it.
As soon as you hear that, you're like, okay, I'm in the zone now, and you just have to go for it.
It's like you've got a job to do and you just get on with it, sort of thing. Yeah.
The crowd's definitely really good because they're always cheering. I remember at one point, I could hear the crowd just suddenly go a bit quieter when I was kind of in between obstacles. And I think my dad shout, "Go on, Nix!" And I was like, oh, okay, I've got this.
Yeah.
So it's great.
It must have been nice to have your family there to watch you as well.
Yeah, it's great having them there. And then afterwards, you just see them, give them hugs. Yeah. And if you've done well, they're always like, yes! If not so well, then they're just more consoling you.
Yeah, no, that's good. Do you find as well, because you've had quite a sporting background anyway, I mean, they've referenced on the show, I think it was last week, they referenced that you're a former cheerleader. So does all that competition experience, did that help, like, prepare you?
I think so. I think cheerleading definitely helped because I played a lot of other sports as well, but they were more like hockey, so I'd be playing matches every week, so you don't really get nerves in the same way. But the cheerleading, you have only a few competitions each year, so the whole season, the training's building up to these competitions.
Right.
So that moment before you step out onto the stage is very much the same as that moment before stepping onto the course. So it's really nerve-wracking. I think it helps that I've done that to kind of help calm my nerves down a bit, but
do you know,
it's still tough.
You've reminded me because I remember in rowing, Matthew Pinsent, I don't know if you've heard of him, he used to row in the Olympics, 4 Olympic gold medals, and he said even at that level, he said those moments before a race starts, he said in the back of your mind, you think if there's a door you could go through and just run away from it all, you would want to do it, but you also know you couldn't live with yourself if you did, but you have to do it, but you don't want to, sort of thing.
Exactly.
It's like, it's terrifying, isn't it? But
you think it gets easier each time, but it almost gets worse as well because you've got more expectations on yourself.
Yeah, I could definitely relate to that. So how did, just very quickly, how did the semi-finals go? Because obviously on the first round, you got far enough to qualify for the semis. How did the semis go?
So the semi-finals, I think I got to the 4th obstacle. So I had the steps, which I did, and then it was sort of swinging from a ring, hooking it onto another hook, then unhooking from another one. Then it was the rolling log. Right. So running across that one, which is... They're always a tough one.
I've seen that they look tough because I would be afraid you step on it and immediately your feet are going to go from it unless you plant it dead right.
Yeah, you just got to be light on your toes, go really fast and just look ahead of you, look at as where you're going and hope for the best, really.
So I suppose, really, yeah, it's like you were saying, was speed going to help? Because just sheer momentum, if you start to lose your balance, there could be enough forward momentum to
yeah, exactly. And kind of, it's almost when you get near to the end, just jump and hope for the best.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
Because wasn't the rule that if any part of your outfit, whatever, touches any touch of the water, is you out then or something?
So hair as well. So if I had it in a ponytail,
I don't have to worry about that. Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's when you're on the cargo nets. It's always a bit.
Oh god, yeah,
you don't want your hair to go in
behind. Yeah. So I'm trying. Did you sort of tie your hair up sort of tighter so that there wasn't as much dangling?
I just had it in a ponytail. And I think I was a bit careful about holding my head up. Right. But yeah.
Because as you can imagine, all of this talk about hair is very alien to me because I started shaving mine off about 20 years ago.
Can't really relate.
Exactly, I know. Yeah, you don't want to, trust me. Okay, it saves a fortune on shampoo. I mean, that's one thing.
Yeah.
But okay, so you did series 3. Did you apply for series 4 at all the following year?
No, I didn't, because I just started at university,
right.
And so it had been my first year, and I didn't have enough time to train as much as I wanted to. So I felt like if I applied and did it, I wouldn't be able to do as well as I wanted, and I'd just be a bit disappointed with it.
Of course, I suppose the expectations were there as well, and having made the semi-finals, like you're expecting more of yourself as well. Yeah,
exactly. So I would have been really disappointed. It just wasn't fit enough at that time.
Yeah,
I did get to do some testing.
Right,
it was great. So I got to basically go in, test a lot of the obstacles. I think I probably did like 5 days or something. So some of the heats.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So some of the heats, some of the semis.
Right.
And I think I did some of the final as well. But yeah, you get to go in, test the obstacles. They sometimes change it around a bit. Yeah. You have to take quite a lot of spare clothes though, because
of course, if you fall in.
Yeah. And then you bought like 5 pairs of trainers as well.
Of course, yeah. If they get soaked, you can't exactly use them again, can you?
Yeah, exactly. So it's really good because you don't have the pressure on, but you still get to try the obstacles, and it's just having a bit of a play around with them, because the course is literally like an adult playground.
Yeah, exactly. Now, I was thinking, you've actually on your Instagram profile, you've put some clips up of you found, because you found, wasn't it during the lockdowns that you found on your camera roll, you had some old clips?
Yeah, I think I was just scrolling through and found the old footage. So.
Yeah, so if anyone is looking at this, go and follow Nicky's profile there, but we'll go to a couple clips of it now. If I can go back up on share screen.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, nailed it.
That's Nicky. Nice, Nicky.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
So from those clips, you said some of those obstacles were from the final of that series. Were those series 4 obstacles?
I think that was series 4, but then I did a bit of testing once I'd been knocked out of series 5. So because I got knocked out in the heats in series 5.
Yeah.
And so I managed to do some testing for the semi-final. So they might have been for the semi-final of season.
Yeah.
I'm not too sure. It's all a bit of a blur now, but
yeah. I'll tell you what I thought of seeing that was that when you got to practice those sort of poles that were hanging down, that must have been good practice for what you had last week as well, because that's exactly the obstacle that you had.
Exactly. So it's really good because you kind of know you've done it already. So it takes a bit of the nerves away, but you still just don't really know, especially with the balance ones, like things like the balls that you're running over.
Yeah.
Even though you've done them before, you still don't feel confident when you get to it.
Just check, with those balls that were strung up sort of together, am I right that when you step on the centre bit, that rolls around as soon as you...
Yeah, it does roll around. So you've got to make sure you're hitting it in the right place, because if you step on the back, that's just
it. If you're short of the midway, the peak of it, it's just going to go. Your legs are going to go from underneath you, aren't you? Yeah,
exactly.
And you've got that and the pressure, because that was the obstacle when you were racing the House Ninja, weren't you?
Yes. Yeah. And they just run straight over it.
Yeah,
they're crazy.
They've had practice, haven't they? That's what.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a full-time job for some of these ones. Yeah. So obviously by this point you've done the show a couple of times. You've done the course testing, then you hear the shows coming back. So for this year, were you aware that it was going to be a head-to-head? Did you know it was going to be a new format, or do you think same as before?
Yeah, so we knew it was going to be a new format, and they said there'd be head-to-head races, and that there would be a men's competition and a women's competition separately as well.
Right.
But we didn't really know how it was going to work.
Okay.
So we knew it was going to be a bit different, but didn't know the ins and outs of it until we got there, really.
I got you. So also with how was it decided who you're up against? What do they do on that front?
It was just drawn out of a hat. Yeah, so it's just
really? Okay, so there's no, they're not trying to seed people, nothing like that. It's just
yeah, it was just straight out of a hat.
Okay.
So I was wondering if they maybe do a bit of seeding, if they have certain people that they thought would do really well. But like you'll see some of the races. Like last week we had Dean and Seb Foucault.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
they're both so strong. So when they got their names pulled out of the hat, I think they were one of the first ones as well. Right. Everyone was like, "Oh my gosh, this is going to be crazy." But yeah. Just potluck.
That's something else I've remembered in terms of because they filmed it. Luckily this time you only had a short wait time, because we've got to mention earlier. But when you did Series 3, that was recorded in the August, and you had to wait until the January for it to air. So you had five months or so of keeping your mouth shut on the result. And
then Season 5 was even worse, filming in August, and it was probably like May the next year that it was on.
That is brutal. That is just so. It's like, please, I want to say something.
Exactly. You just want to tell everyone, especially when you've done well. You want to be like, oh, yes, I did it. But can't tell anyone. So, yeah, this one was good. It was only a month or whatever.
It must have been easier this time, because you've only had a month to wait, haven't you? Because was it mid-August that you did all the filming?
Yeah, mid-August. And then a month later, they started filming it. So they did a really quick turnaround time.
Yeah,
so
I've noticed they've really, mind you, Series 1 was like this, because they recorded in the March to early April of 2015, and then they were, I think, as they were filming maybe the final, the first episode was about to start, they turned that one around really, really fast, and then they spaced it out a bit. But I suppose really, at least it was easier for you this time, in as much as you only had to keep quiet for so long.
Yeah, exactly.
However, now you've got the other thing, is that we've seen that you we'll go to the clip in a minute, but you've got the situation that you now you can't reveal to people whether or not you're in the grand final or not, because we've got to wait until all the other heats have gone, and then they're going to show what happens. So it's that whether you have or haven't, it's just the case that you can't
say anything. I have so many people asking me, be like, did you make it? And I'm like, I can't say. Who knows?
I gotta say, with me, it's so watching it. It's so not, even though I know you and a few of the others, it's much more fun not knowing the outcome whatsoever, because then I can go into it and enjoy it like everyone else.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I wasn't going to try and get any info out of you on this, because I know I know you can't anyway. Exactly, I know. So, there was something I was going to ask you, and as is the case when you do these things, my mind's gone completely blank. Can't remember what that one is. I'll tell you what we will do is that if we just show the clip now of what was on last week, just to give a bit of a refresher in case people haven't seen it. And you can hear that going off. That's me. This is the wonders of trying to record things live. So we'll just go to it now, and then you can expand a bit more once we do.
Train it against the criminologist, can it?
But can they stick to the straight and narrow, Ben?
Ah, that joke is criminal, can he? Ex-cheerleader. Certainly got a lot to cheer about so far. Now giving her a good cheer as well.
She's already through.
And she's over to the cargo net. Nicely done.
Look at that.
Pressure off the can.
Yeah.
She
Now
looks
she's
good here.
looking good.
Down you come, Nicky.
I told you.
Another case of Cami being insightful and on the ball as ever. Nicky Screawn, is she going to come up the wall? Yeah! Nicky hits the buzzer. What a finish!
I never doubted it for a minute.
Nicky, it comes down to this.
She's going to have her work time, Lucky.
It might be if you don't tip her to win.
I'm not doing that, Ben, I can assure you.
Go on then, Nicky. Just control that swing.
Not today.
Meanwhile, back on the course,
Oh,
Nicky's
yes.
hit the cargo net.
Oh,
Arlene's
she's
already
doing
on top
great.
of her.
Oh, look at Arlene.
Come on, Nicky, that's it. It's yours. Come on.
I think the girls are enjoying themselves tonight from the pro side of things.
Yeah.
Been a tough ask for each of our competitors. Come on
Well
now,
done,
Nicky.
Nicky.
Let's go. Grip, feet, thighs, arms.
She's doing brilliant,
She
Ben.
is. Arlene is over.
Hey, come on,
She doesn't want to hang
Nicky.
around too long.
Get to the top of that wall. Can she do it on her first attempt?
Yes, she can.
Yes, of course she can.
Well done, Nicky. Great performance. Has she done enough to go through to the grand final?
So I've just realised watching that. Did you actually have to do both of those runs in the same day, or were they split onto separate days?
We'd actually split them onto separate days. So
it's because like another question I had, because I remember you recorded it, and weren't you episode 5 in recording, but they at the arena, but it was show 2 on the show. Are they shuffling the orders around a bit?
yeah, sometimes they've shuffled the order around a bit.
Yeah.
I guess they probably just want to figure out which episodes are maybe best to have first and everything. But yeah, so you don't really always know when you're going to be on. This year they've been great, and they've emailed us saying when your air date is going to be, and giving you details and everything. So they've been really good. I think they might have done that the last season as well, or at least they said, oh, it's going to be shown at this time, so get watching. But yeah, you're not really sure what they're going to show at all.
Well, yeah, because that's the nervy thing, isn't it? Because I know I experienced that myself. It's when you know that you're going to be on, it's a case of how are they going to edit me, because you're at their mercy, aren't you? It's just they throw you as they want.
You do so many interviews beforehand and after your run, and there are so many cringy things that I said, and I'm just watching like, please don't put that in it.
Yeah,
but I think I got out all right this time.
You did well.
So
you had way more airtime this time around, because this new format, they've scaled down the amount of competitors, haven't they?
Yeah, so got so much airtime, which is it's always great. But
brilliant, yeah.
So you're not just having a splash compilation or something.
Yeah.
But I have been quite lucky in all the other seasons. Like I've got a decent amount of airtime in them at least, compared to some people especially as well. But yeah, so much more airtime and a lot more focused on you as a competitor.
This is where I think it's better they've scaled the numbers down, because it gives them a chance to really focus, and it's easier. It's like for me as a watcher, it's so much better. You can spend more time following someone's journey through, and I think it's a much better format.
Yeah, I agree, because with like the American Ninja Warrior, you have some of those competitors who are household names and who everyone knows, like Jessie Graff, first one that comes to mind, but she's like a celebrity, like she went to the Emmys and everything, and I think that's maybe something that they've been lacking. Like there are only a certain few of the competitors that you know of that have been there enough. Like I guess you've got Toby Seagar, who's been on quite a lot of them, Tim Champion as well, so I think they kind of need to get some of the more of the names out there. Maybe.
Yeah, and I think this is, this format definitely looks like it's going to help now.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, what would your advice be to anyone? Hopefully, not giving too much away. I mean, you've gone through the audition process. Actually, as a little side note, I think we should also mention that you've actually got a 100% success rate on applying, because at Series 3 you couldn't apply for the first 2 series because you weren't old enough, and every time you've tried since, you've been picked. Yeah.
I don't know what it is, but they must like me.
I must take some advice from you, because I've got a 100% record on Ninja Warrior, but it's for the opposite result of not getting on. I did Series 1 and 2.
Hopefully that could change at some point.
You never know. Yeah, I got to get back in shape first. That would be the first thing. I'm getting there, but I'm not. Oh, good grief, I'm not ready for that yet. So yeah, what advice? And I'm not asking this from a selfish point of view. I'm genuinely for other people as well. What advice would you give to those wanting to apply for the show?
Just go for it, really. So the application, put in as much detail as you can. Like it's questionnaire form, so just say as much as you can. you do a video for that as well. So really just film loads of your training as you're going throughout the year. So you've got clips that you can just pop in there. And then when it comes to the audition, be confident, chat to people. I think that's really a big thing, just showing that you're confident, because then that'll transfer onto television. So you'd be good for TV. And if something goes wrong, don't worry about it too much. I think that on my first 2 auditions, so for season 3 and then season 5, I thought that they didn't go very well. And but I obviously still got on, whereas this last one, I feel like I did a lot better in it and still got on. But you don't really know what they're looking for. So just be confident, be nice. That always helps. And then there's a piece to camera bit that you do, so like a mini interview. I think that's one of the parts which really gets people on the show or not. So just make sure you're kind of not feeling a bit awkward about it. If you wanted, you could do a trial interview with your friends beforehand, and don't worry about stumbling on your words, because everyone does it. And just answer the questions as much as you can, and hope for the best. Really?
Well, I know about stumbling over words because I did it a couple of minutes ago because my head went completely blank. So,
I do it all the time as well.
So it's it's reassuring to to hear that, because it just gives me a bit of an idea, because that I might give it a go next year. Well, we'll see what shape I'm in, but it's just they've really raised the standard. So for you to get on previous series where they were picking like 200 for a series was one thing, but now it looked like, is it about 40 people this series, 20 men, 20 women or something? Because they're only 8
like that. Something like that. So it's crazy, and everyone that's done it, they've chosen people that they think could complete the course, because obviously the race format, they want it to be good, and they want people to be racing head to head to make it a bit more exciting. So everyone who gets on it is very good as well. They're very strong. Like speaking to everyone backstage, just they're like, oh, so what's your background? And then this girl's like, oh, I'm like a GB bobsledder. And I'm like, okay. Cool. Like with her like Olympic like necklace.
Oh my god, right,
And that's just very cool. I was like, I'm just from Stockport.
So that's going to be someone coming up that we're going to see in the next couple of weeks, maybe.
I think so, maybe. So keep an eye out.
Oh, we'll have to look out for her. So no, that should be good. Well, I suppose the one difference this year, I'll see if I can pop this up on the share screen again, is that they've been putting all your Instagram handles up now, haven't they?
Yeah, they have.
That's a kind of a nice thing. So in case anyone hasn't seen it, let's go to this. So this is what people will be looking for if they want to search you on Instagram. Wait for it. There. That's the account. I have got the right account, haven't I? That's the
right one.
Yeah. So anyone wants to follow you, that's where to go. And those videos of you doing all the course testing, if they scroll through the history, they can find that, can't they?
Yeah, they can find all of that on there. Loads of training videos as well.
Excellent.
So you can see how I train for Ninja.
Oh, excellent. That's brilliant. Hold on, I'm forgetting how to come off share screen. I'm still trying to learn how to do all this thing. I'll get the hang of all this techie stuff.
Yeah.
Overall, can I just say thank you so much for doing this, because it's just great to get a bit more of an insight. I mean, I love the new format. We're getting to know the people more, and like this, you're just helping to fill in the blanks, both for me and hopefully for a few others that watch this as well, just to get a bit of an insight into the show. So really,
thank you for having me on as well. This has been great.
Okay, no problem at all. So I think the amount of airtime you're getting, they'll have you opening stores and stuff like that before.
Oh, of course. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. Well, you're in London now, aren't you? So that's it. World's at your fingertips. Yeah. So, and of course, living in London means they'll put you up in the hotel now if you get on next series. So upgrade.
Fingers crossed.
Exactly. Yeah. All right, Nicky. Thank you so much. That's great. We'll talk soon. And obviously, we're looking forward to the rest of the series to see whether you are in the grand final or not, and then finally you can talk more freely about it. So
exactly. I don't have to worry about spilling any secrets.
Exactly. Yeah, there's always that nervousness, isn't there? Yeah. I know what you mean. So anyway, again, thank you so much, and we'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, speak soon.
Okay, cheers.